All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're diving into, well, a listener submission.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so this is an excerpt from a short horror story titled, get this, POV. You're the new teacher, but you were here before.
Ooh, okay.
Right, published on Medium by Horror Stories. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But the story itself, oh man, just truly unsettling, especially that ending. So many questions. But that's what we're here for, right? To unpack it all, see what we can find.
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so right off the bat, the story introduces us to Blackwood Academy.
And the author, they really nail this creeping dread from the very beginning. Like, it just escalates as we go.
Totally. And Blackwood Academy, it's almost like its own character, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All these sensory descriptions, they make it feel so, I don't know, sinister. Like, we've got groaning gates,
Wow.
rusted metal, broken windows, overgrown ivy, the whole deal. Like classic gothic horror right out of a novel.
You know, it's interesting. It's not just the visuals. The author hits us with, like, flickering lights, that ever-present dust, even a metallic smell.
Yeah, it's heavy. Like, something's not right.
Absolutely. And it's that atmosphere that just screams, something's deeply wrong with this place.
And then there's this constant feeling of being watched, like eyes in the shadows, almost like the building itself is like alive, holding secrets.
Yeah, and that taps into that primal fear of the unknown, keeps you on edge.
Totally. Okay, so then we meet Lily Harrow, the new teacher. She's looking for a fresh start, comes to Blackwood Academy, but right away there are these red flags, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Like when the head of administration, Mrs. Winslow, warns Lily about certain areas, right?
Yes.
Off limits after dark, maintenance issues.
So vague. What are they not telling her?
Right. Classic horror trope, those ominous warnings. But then it gets even creepier. The ghostly girl outside Lily's classroom window. Old-fashioned uniform, unsettling smile, and then poof, gone.
Like straight out of a nightmare.
It's a turning point, raises all these questions. Who is she? Her connection to Blackwood? Why does her smile feel so...
menacing? Yeah, it's like the author is setting us up for something bad.
Absolutely.
And even Lily's classroom, it's described as like carved desks, faint chalkboard outlines, skeletal trees outside the window. It's like the room itself is haunted by the past, and then we have these really unsettling events.
Right, you get this sense of layering, like history's imprinted on the environment.
Exactly. So papers start moving around on their own. There's a drawing of Blackwood Academy, but it's like engulfed in flames, and there's this creepy figure and a message, "It never left." And then the door creaks open.
Yeah.
Empty hallway. And then the sound of a child's laughter.
Ooh, that's a good use of sound.
Yeah.
Manipulating our emotions.
Wow.
Laughter, creaking door.
Yeah.
Everyday sounds, but in this context, completely unnerving.
Totally. So we've got this creepy school, a ghost girl, and all these weird events. And then we meet the students, and they might be the creepiest part of all.
Oh, yeah. They're described as unnervingly silent, still. Just watching Lily with these, like, knowing gazes, it's so unsettling.
And then one of them whispers, "It listens." Like, what does that even mean? They're not just kids, are they? They're part of something else.
Right, exactly. It's woven into the fabric of the school. Even the students, they're not immune to it.
Right.
So is Lily in danger, not just from the ghosts, but from everyone.
Right. It's terrifying. So what does Lily do? She starts investigating.
You gotta love that horror movie logic.
Right. Chuckles. So she's exploring these dark corridors, abandoned classrooms, and she finds room 3B, scorched door, smell of burnt fabric, this overwhelming sense of decay.
It's like the room itself is a warning.
Totally. But Lily, she keeps going, and this is where things get really, really disturbing.
The names on the wall.
Yes. Inside room 3B, names are etched into the walls. Hundreds, maybe thousands. It's like a memorial, but not in a good way. More like a testament to something awful.
Exactly. The sheer number, it suggests a long, dark history. Makes you wonder about the fate of all those people, victims, former students. What does it mean for Lily finding her own name at the bottom?
It's like a sign, like she's become part of this, whatever it is.
It's foreshadowing, dramatic irony, like we know what it means, but she doesn't yet.
Chilling. And then the flashlight flickers, the door slams shut, whispers start rising, and story ends with, and behind her something moved.
Just, exhales. Masterful use of suspense, leaving us hanging. What is that something? What's going to happen to Lily? We don't know, and that's terrifying.
So much to unpack. What is Blackwood Academy's darkness? What about those names on the wall? And Lily, what's going to happen to her? Stay with us. We'll delve deeper into POV. You're the new teacher, but you were here before. After the break.
I keep thinking about that ending and that something moving in the dark.
It's like the author wants us to really feel that unease, that sense of dread. Yeah, for sure. And it makes you think about what Blackwood Academy represents, right? Lily came looking for a fresh start, but all she found were these echoes of the past.
So the building itself is a manifestation of all that weight,
Yeah.
all those past events, the things that linger and can't be escaped.
Right. It's deeper than just ghosts and spooky noises. It's like Blackwood is a mirror reflecting Lily's own internal struggles, her buried traumas.
The way the author blends the supernatural with the psychological is really effective.
Yeah, you start to question what's real and what's imagined.
Exactly. And that ambiguity is key for horror. It lets the listener, or reader in this case, project their own fears onto the story.
It's like that concept of the uncanny valley, where something is almost human but not quite.
Yes. Blackwood Academy fits that description perfectly. The whispering walls, the watchful students, it's all so unsettling.
And then there's the title, But You Were Here Before. It hints at something more, a connection, a past we're just starting to uncover.
It's never fully explained, which just adds to the mystery.
Right, like what does it mean? Reincarnation, repressed memories, something else entirely.
Maybe Lily's connection to Blackwood goes beyond just being the new teacher. Perhaps she's been drawn back by something she doesn't even understand.
It's like those places we try to escape sometimes end up being the ones that trap us. We change, move on, but the past always seems to find a way back.
That idea of a repeating cycle,
Yeah.
history echoing through time, that's classic horror.
And we can't forget that drawing in Lily's classroom, the figure, the flames, the message, it never left.
So disturbing. The figure is described as elongated, limbs stretching unnaturally. It could be anything, a demon, a manifestation of the Academy's dark history, or even a symbol of the trauma that's soaked into the building.
And the flames, what do they represent? A fire, a tragedy.
Again, the author leaves it open to interpretation, which makes it even more effective.
Right. We fill in the blanks with our own imaginations and fears.
Exactly.
But maybe the flames are symbolic too.
Yeah.
The destructive nature of the past, how it can consume us if we let it.
It's a powerful image, definitely. And it ties into that theme of the past haunting the present. It's not just about literal ghosts, but the impact of our experiences, how they shape us.
Okay, so then there are the names on the wall in room 3B, victims, students, something else. What do they represent?
It feels almost like folk horror,
Yeah.
The idea that certain places hold these ancient, malevolent energies. They draw people in and trap them in this cycle of fear and violence.
And Blackwood Academy is so isolated, almost forgotten, that just amplifies the sense of dread.
Isolation is such a classic horror trope. Cuts the protagonist off from the outside world and makes them vulnerable.
So we have Lily, trapped in room 3B, her name on the wall, and something moving behind her in the dark.
The author nails that suspense. We're left to imagine the worst, fill in the blanks with our own fears. Did Lily escape? Or did something happen to her?
What makes it even more unsettling is that it feels like Lily isn't just a victim. She's somehow drawn to this place, like the title says, but you were here before.
It adds that psychological depth. It's not just about external forces, but the internal struggles, those shadows within our own minds.
Yeah, it's like Blackwood Academy is a representation of those things we try to bury deep down, those repressed memories, traumas.
Right, exactly. Like a physical manifestation of the subconscious, a place where fears and secrets come to life. And Lily's journey, it becomes this descent into her own psyche, confronting the parts of herself she'd rather forget.
And that's got to be terrifying. Think about room 3B, all those names on the walls. It's like the weight of history, all that trauma, it's seeped into the building.
Like the Academy's a living organism, absorbing all that pain and suffering. Those names, they're like scars, reminders of the darkness that's taken root.
And Lily's name, freshly etched there. She's not just an observer anymore. She's part of it now.
It's chilling. Like a reminder, you can't outrun the past. History repeats itself. It's like she's been pulled back to Blackwood to face her own demons.
But will she overcome them? Or will she just become another name on that wall, another victim?
That's the big question, right? The tension that keeps you hooked. Will she break free from the cycle or be consumed by the darkness?
This story, it works on so many levels. Ghosts, psychological thriller, a reflection on the past. It makes you think about the places we live in, the secrets they hold, the hidden stories that shape our lives.
The author makes you consider, every place have a history, a memory. And sometimes those memories are dark. They linger, waiting to come back and haunt us.
So what does it all mean for us? What can we take away from Blackwood Academy and Lily's story?
I think it reminds us we all have our own Blackwood Academies. places, memories, experiences that hold power over us. Maybe it's a physical place, maybe it's something inside, in the shadows of our minds.
And we have to face them. Explore the darkness in ourselves and our pasts. It's the only way to understand, to overcome them.
It takes courage, a willingness to face the unknown. But it's a journey worth taking if we want to break free from those cycles of fear and pain.
This deep dive, it definitely gives you a lot to think about. It's the kind of story that sticks with you, makes you reflect on your own past, your fears, and the hidden stories in the places around us.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that the past never really leaves us. It shapes us, influences our choices. And sometimes the most terrifying journey is the one that leads us back to ourselves.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into POV. You're the new teacher, but you were here before. Hope you found it insightful, maybe even a little unsettling. And, until next time, keep exploring those hidden stories, but maybe keep the lights on.